Welcome back to Bike Matters. Today we're looking at the top 10 middleweight adventure bikes for 2025. So today we're running through 10 middleweight adventure bikes that are worth your attention in 2025. We've got a mix of lighter and budget-friendly do-it-all machines, and we're going up all the way to some more premium options, but most of these are all under £10,000. So what middleweight adventure bikes are out there in 2025? What do they offer and how much do they cost? Here's our roundup of the best 10 in price ascending order. But before we get into the 10 best, a few budget quick picks. You've got the Terrain 380, which could do quite well as a cheaper option, and that'll be around £4,500. And at the very same price point, you'll find the Zontes ZT350. And for £1,000 more, at £5,500, you'll find the Benelli TRK 502. But kicking off the 10 in price ascending order, to remind you, is the CFMoto 450 MT. It's £5,699. Now, with a meteoric rise in popularity in the most recent few years especially, CFMoto is doing incredibly well at bringing affordable motorcycling to the masses, and with some seriously adept and tempting machines too. This 450 MT is powered by a parallel twin with 270-degree crank, so an uneven firing order gives it a little bit more excitement, and it provides 45 brake horsepower and 42 Nm of torque on a relatively light 175 kg dry weight. Seat height is 800mm and the tank size is a large 17.5 litres. In my opinion, the styling is spot on here. You've got a manually adjustable KYB suspension front and rear, J1 brakes with switchable rear Bosch ABS, 21-inch front wheel, 18-inch rear wheel, and all things considered, for an entry-level adventure bike at £5,699, this looks to be a really solid option that will be just as happy off-road as it is on the road. Next up, we have the Royal Enfield Himalayan 450, and you can find this one from around £5,850 and up. Royal Enfield's all-new Himalayan, now liquid-cooled and mono-shocked, of course it's the first Enfield to be so equipped, and successor to its previous Himalayan air-cooled junior sibling, you could say, is proved so versatile and so popular that it certainly deserves to be on this list. Admittedly, it's perhaps not the most exciting performer out of the list, and that 40 brake horsepower claim is on the generous side, supposedly. Apparently on the dyno it's more around 30 brake horsepower to the wheel. But it's light, it's easily manageable, it's comfortable, upright, nimble. The power delivery is still flexible, easy, and sufficient for 80 miles per hour motorway cruising. And crucially, it's more than capable of gentle to medium off-road trails, which keeps true to the original Himalayan formula, which gave it so much success in the first place. As an entry-level adventure bike, it has a lot going for it. Plus, it has the TFT display, which pairs to your phone, shows maps, and that'll be a big help on longer tours in foreign lands. Next, we have the Honda XL750 Transalp. This one's £8,749. Honda already had the adventure bike category pretty well covered with its 47 brake horsepower NX500 and 101 brake horsepower CRF 1100 Africa Twin. Fantastic bike. But in 2023, impressively also filled the middle ground with the launch of this all-new CB750 Hornet Roadster-derived adventure bike. They share the same motor. This also revived Honda's historic Transalp model name. Power comes from the same perky and potent parallel twin from the Hornet Roadster. The chassis ticks the adventure box via 21 and 18-inch wire wheels with longer travel suspension, which delivers both adequate off-road ability, a comfortable touring ride, yet still some good road handling. Its upright riding position and fairing are more than sufficient for motorway touring, and it's keenly priced too. If you're after a cheaper Honda adventurer, the NX500 that was mentioned is a 47 brake horsepower option at around £6,829. That's an evolution of the superb CB500X format, with now a 5-inch TFT dash and a name that evokes memories of the NX650 Dominator of old. Next, we have the Voge DS900X. This one's £9,199. Announced in 2024, the Voge DSX is an all-new premium-spec Chinese adventure tourer built by the same company which has been making BMW's F800 GS engine for the past 10 years. The DSX also uses a version of that engine, yet by delivering a virtually full-size adventure bike fully equipped with adjustable screen, suspension, heated grips, and even three-piece luggage, and all for under £10,000, the result is a bike which seriously questions why anyone would want to pay anything more. Now on paper it has it all, and it does it all. It's handsome, it's well built, it's perky enough, roomy and comfortable over distance, and it has a hugely impressive spec. In reality, it's not quite perfect though. Its delivery power is a little bit crude, it's overgeared, the suspension does need properly setting up, the luggage is a little small and crude, and the reliability, residuals, and the dealer experience remain unknown. But even so, it has enough going for it at such a stunning price that it's proved a big 96.5 brake horsepower hit. It's also the heaviest on this list, and that's circa 240 kilograms. It's on the borderline of not being a middleweight bike at all. But it's here. Moving on, we have the Suzuki V-Strom 800, and this one you can find from around £9,699. So rewind to 2023, Suzuki followed Honda and the Transalp 750 with the launch of the V-Strom 800, and you could say they both followed the Yamaha Ténéré 700, hoping that providing an alternative and reworked adventure option could tempt the masses in their direction. Kawasaki are no doubt hoping their parallel twinned adventurer can join them soon as it gets out of the box it was in at Motorcycle Live and EICMA. Anyway, the 800 V-Strom comes in a couple of flavours depending on your preference. You've got the road-oriented RE or the Desert Explorer Off-Road Edition DE. Of course, both somewhat follow in the style of the previous Suzuki V-Stroms, such as the V-Twin 650 and 1050. Fun fact, I asked Suzuki if V for V-Strom meant V-Twin, and they said no, V stands for versatile. I don't believe him. I think V has always stood for V-Twin, so it's now a parallel twin, and it's versatile, apparently. You could say the Honda and Yamaha rivals slightly overshadow the V-Strom, and some say it's questionably styled and slightly too expensive at £10,699 for the off-road edition than the cheaper, slightly, Transalp. This V-Strom has an 83 brake horsepower 776cc parallel twin, also found, of course, in the GSX-8S. It's grunty, flexible, and it's a bit of a peach compared to the Revy Honda. And it's got a solid, rugged quality that few rivals can match, and it does handle really well on and off-road too, though it is 227 kilograms. I did personally enjoy it on the 2-day launch all over Sardinia when it was launched a couple of years ago. That was fantastic, had so much fun. Moving on, we have the BMW F800 GS, and this is £9,995. One of the first middleweight adventure bikes, the original F800 GS, was launched in 2008, based around a modified F-Series parallel twin engine, along with a more basic, lower-powered entry-level version, the F700 GS. Both have proved solid sellers ever since due to their affordability and manageability compared to BMW's full-size R1200 and up GS series, if not quite matching the flagship bike's best-selling success. And both have been successively updated since, most recently for 2024 with the 800, then 850, becoming the F900 GS, with more hardcore off-road ability than ever, and the 700, then 750, now becoming the entry-level F800 GS. Although if you're confused, we wouldn't be at all surprised. As such, the F800 GS remains charmingly accessible and easy to ride, with a solid 87 brake horsepower and 91 Nm of torque from the 895cc twin. It features dynamic suspension with automatic damping adjustment and has an air of refinement and badge appeal that few other bikes can match. As a slight downside, it is a little bit basic, and there is just 2 riding modes, and a low non-adjustable screen could limit your distance appeal unless you pay to change it. And optional extras to bump up its spec to match some of the rivals quickly becomes expensive. Just before we get into the top 4, if you're after an insurance quote for an adventure motorcycle or even a scooter, Lexham Insurance can provide a quote with their specialist schemes. So if you want to see if you can save a few pennies on a quote, try them online at lexhaminsurance.co.uk or direct on the phone. Next up, we have the KTM 790 Adventure. This is £9,999. Austrian off-road experts KTM pretty much redefined what middleweight adventure bikes might be capable of when it launched its first midi adventure, the 790 Adventure, based on the punchy parallel twin engine from the 790 Duke Roadster back in 2019. That bike was the junior sibling to KTM's already superb off-road 1290 Adventure V-Twin, and like its bigger brother was available in a more off-road R form. again redefining what such bikes were capable of, and yet was a decent punchy road all-rounder too. The 790 was updated to an even punchier 105 brake horsepower 890 form in 2020. Then in 2023, KTM reintroduced the 790 version, but this time built by its Chinese partner CFMoto and to a slightly lower spec, so resulting in its sub £10,000 price tag. If you're after a truly off-road capable middleweight adventure bike, but aren't keen on the 890R's now near £14,000 price tag, it's worth serious consideration, though you may want to read into the cheese cams and reliability concerns that some owners openly share. It's a great bike, but you'll want to know what you're stepping into first. Next on our middleweight list is the Yamaha Ténéré 700. There's quite a few of these, but the base model is £10,400. This is another bike which redefined and reinvigorated the middleweight adventure bike category. First launched in 2019, the 700 Ténéré had the impressively punchy parallel twin engine from Yamaha's successful MT-07 Roadster. It's got true off-road capable ability thanks to big wheels and long travel suspension, and, at least initially, a very tempting price tag of under £10,000. Of course, it's now gone over that. All of this proved such a success that it not only fueled interest in the class, but also spawned a series of variants. The base model Ténéré is £10,400, and you can get 6 different variants going up to an £11,916 World Raid and World Rally options. These are armed with a huge 23-litre dual tank and seriously good suspension. So in 2025, those 6 different versions are all available and offer a slightly different take on the Ténéré form. They all offer KTM rivaling off-road ability, the Dakar Rally visual appeal, punchy performance and decent road manners, although none, sadly, are quite as cheap as they once were. It is tall, and the CP2 Twin does only have 72 brake horsepower, and it's high up here on the list as one of the more pricey options in 2025, but it's just oh so good. I did get a chance to go to the Yamaha Off-Road Experience Centre out in Wales to try the Ténéré 700 and a few other Yamaha off-road models, and that was at the opening of their new facility. Incredible day, so much good riding out there, and the guys and girls at the Yamaha Off-Road Experience School are second to none. It was fantastic, and I highly recommend it if you get a chance to go. Next up, we have the Aprilia Tuareg 660. This one's £10,750. Aprilia's entry into the middleweight adventure bike category may be among the pricier here, but if you want a stylish, effective all-rounder with a hefty dose of Italian style and exotic appeal, it has a lot going for it. It was launched in 2022. It's a derivative of the RS 660 Sportster and the Tuono 660, of course, and uses a version of that bike's parallel twin engine detuned to a more flexible and friendly 79 brake horsepower. Its chassis, however, is full-on adventure, with 21 and 18-inch off-road wire wheels along with semi-knobblies. Of course, you change those out if you're going fully off-road. The long travel suspension is fully adjustable, the brakes are by Brembo, there's a full suite of electronic rider aids, you've got a slick 5-inch colour TFT dash, smart Italian styling, and going by Aprilia's factory desert racing results, genuine off-road credibility. It might not be the cheapest or the most powerful, but it's right up there with the best, if not the best. And at the top of the table is the Triumph Tiger 900. I'll say the Rally Pro because it's more adventure, and that's £14,495. British brand Triumph is another leading marque who was in at the beginning of the middleweight adventure bike movement. With its first Tiger 800 Triple in 2010, and with Yamaha and others, that bike's success has spawned both a series of updates and an increasing number of variants. For 2025, 3 different Tiger 900s can be found. There's the Tiger Sport 660 and the new 800, and of course the Tiger 1200, which is at the top of the tree, but that's a bit too heavyweight for this list, so I won't talk about it too much. You do also have the Tiger Sport 850, but that's no longer considered a new model for Triumph. It's no longer on their website, and they did say that the Tiger Sport 800 is coming in to replace the 850. Of course, no doubt you'll still be able to find these on sale, but it's not a new model anymore. Anyway, looking at the 108 brake horsepower 900s, you'll find the road-orientated £12,195 Tiger 900 GT. which is the base model. You've got the up-spec'd £13,895 Tiger 900 GT Pro, and the more off-road and adventure-ready, you could say, £14,495 Tiger 900 Rally Pro. I'll stick with the Rally Pro here as it has all of the capability on the technology and spec side for a serious tourer and adventurer combination, though it is pretty pricey and it's on the verge of not really being a middleweight at 228 kilograms. As with virtually all Triumphs, handling is class leading, and the Rally Pro was incredible off-road, and I'm not even that good off-road. In the right hands, this can genuinely do it all. If you're wondering what my pick would be out of these 10, it's hard to look past the Rally Pro, but I'm going to go for the CFMoto 450 MT. That looks like an absolute winner for the money, and I'd love to have a go on one. Also, a shout out to the BMW 450 GS, which I believe is due out later this year, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's a 2025 Icon special. Anyway, cheers for watching, have a watch of this Tiger review, and ciao.